Welcome to the Superdome in New Orleans for the 1991 Sugar Bowl between the Tennessee Volunteers and the Virginia Cavaliers. Let's now join our announcers as the teams get set for the opening kick.
Two highly explosive teams. Frank Gifford along with Al Michaels and Dan Deerdorf, and this one should be fun.
Frank, I think we're going to see a very high-scoring game. That seems to be the consensus feeling. We know both teams can score, and Dan, it might be determined by which team plays better defensively tonight.
I think you'd have to give the edge to Tennessee in that respect. Both of these teams have skilled players all over the place. Great running backs, fine receivers, good quarterbacking. If Tennessee under John Majors has any sort of an edge, I think it would be in their ability to control the line of scrimmage. I think that'll be a big story in tonight's game. If Tennessee wins the line of scrimmage battle, as their people think they will, well then they will definitely have an edge.
Volunteers to kick off, Virginia to receive. Joey Chapman will put it in the air from the 35-yard line as the Cavaliers receive, and the Sugar Bowl is underway from New Orleans as Jared Washington takes it at the 2 and begins the game with a run back of 37 yards to the 39-yard line. And the Virginia Cavaliers will take over at that spot. Sean Moore, who led the nation in passing efficiency this season, dislocated his thumb against Maryland. He was questionable for this game. He said the other day he's at about 60%. George Welsh feels that's enough. He's got Kirby and Sweeney beginning the game behind him. Herman Moore is terrific. We'll see a lot of him. Ray Roberts, the left tackle, 72, is their best offensive lineman. Wiles, a good one, too, will be going to the Hula Bowl. This is Terry Kirby picking up about 3. He and Nicky Fisher will alternate as their featured running back tonight, as has been the case this year. 4-man defensive front for Tennessee: Rogers and Bailey, Fuller and Chuck Smith, the best of that quartet. Hardy, Dotson and Fields. They may move Dotson back to offense next year. Lincoln and McCluskey are the corners. Fletcher and Dale Carter, the safeties. Carter is a man to watch. And all of those Volunteers will be back next year on defense. On 2nd and 7, they pitch it to Kirby, and he takes it out to the 46-yard line. Stopped about 3 yards shy of the first down by Chuck Smith, number 56, along with help from J.J. McCluskey.
Kirby, of course, a 1,000-yard rusher. And one thing George Welch also told us about going with his quarterback, Sean Moore, he said, well, he's got a sore thumb, but his legs are fine, meaning that he is an additional running threat from that quarterback spot. He had over 360 yards rushing. He scored 8 touchdowns on the ground. So he is also a multiple threat, not only throwing it, but running the ball.
3rd down and a long 3 from just outside the 45 as Sean Moore gets set for his first pass of the game, and he finds his favorite receiver, Herman Moore, for a first down just across midfield at the Tennessee 49-yard line. Herman Moore is a junior, but he's going to graduate. He has a year of eligibility remaining, but the feeling around Virginia is he will come out and make himself available in the NFL draft.
Well, what a target at 6'5", and he just delays and runs underneath the Tennessee zone. They drop back and almost concede the first down to Virginia by playing that deep zone. But what a talent in Herman Moore. The great size, the excellent speed, and the leaping ability over a 7-foot high jump.
From the 49-yard line on a delay. Nothing happens there. There's a fumble at the 49-yard line and a loose ball as Kirby dropped it. He may have been down before the ball came loose. No signal yet from the official, and apparently that will be the call as they rewind the clock. He was down by contact, and the referee, Dean Kramer, is right there to let us know it's still Virginia ball.
And of course, for us tonight, guys, something unusual in this game: no instant replay. That ball was out. That ball came out before he hit the ground. Tom Fuller makes the hit, and that ball was away before Kirby hits the ground. A good break for Virginia. They retain possession.
No further review tonight. 2nd down and 12. And this is Moore rolling and running to the 45-yard line. He's pushed out of bounds by Darrell Hardy. Not only a great arm, but he's a very mobile quarterback, Sean Moore.
Well, he rushed for over 300 yards this year. Not a great average, only almost 3.5 yards per carry, but effective. A lot of those were first down pickups.
Virginia, remember, 7-0 and number 1 in the country, and then they met up with Georgia Tech after the Sugar Bowl invitation, 1-3. And the big difference there, they were on the plus side of the takeaway giveaway ratio until those last 4 games. Well on the plus side, as Moore's pass is caught at the 36-yard line by Aaron Mundy, and that's good enough for a first down.
This is good for Sean Moore. He's completed his first 2 passes now. He has a very sore thumb. There's no question about it. But again, the adrenaline will be flowing. He's completed a couple now. They weren't beautiful things to behold. They didn't have a tight spiral, as you can see there, and it obviously is not going to get there as quickly that way. It was thrown short, but he gets the completion. He gets the first down. The adrenaline flows, and he could have a great night.
George Wells said, the only thing that's going to concern me about Moore is his velocity. From the 37-yard line, he hands the ball to Gary Steele, who is normally used as a blocker. Their fullbacks rarely carry, and Steele picks up about 2. Opening drive of the game, 11:53 to go. First quarter, no score in the USF&G Sugar Bowl.
I think when you think of Virginia, you automatically think of the Moore-to-Moore combination, but they run the ball so well. When you look at the averages that their running backs maintain throughout the year, I mean, Kirby, 6.2 yards per carry. Fisher, 7 yards a carry. Brown, 7 yards a carry. I mean, these guys get great blocking up front.
And this is Kirby, who doesn't find the blocking on that particular play. Chuck Smith makes the stop. But you're right, Dan, in the sense I think a lot of people think of Virginia as being a one-dimensional team, but they gained more on the ground than they did in the air this year.
Yeah, they really did, and they have an outstanding balance. A lot of different people are getting the yards. We mentioned Kirby over 1,000. Fisher had 848 yards during the year. I mean, that's tremendous production from a couple of guys.
There's the man they want to watch in this particular play, number 87, the big man. We've already told you about him. As NFL scouts drooling all over the league, 6'5", a 200-pounder. And Virginia in the passing situation. They move him around to get him in single coverage.
On 3rd and 7, the pass is caught by Herman Moore, who was the man in motion, and I believe it's enough for a first down, as it is spotted just inside the 27-yard line, and it is. So that's another conversion on the 3rd down situation for Virginia, 3 for 3 on 3rd down conversions on this opening drive. 1st and 10.
Moore was 6th in the Heisman balloting, to give you an idea of how respected he was. I'll tell you, that's a really graceful move he put on there. How many times have you seen Al Toon do that move and Jerry Rice do that move?
Well, Toon is the player, Frank, that immediately comes to mind when you look at the physique of Herman Moore. That tall, rangy. You can see him going to the sideline, kind of feeling his back in that kidney area.
And he asked to come out, by the way.
He took a good shot.
First down from the 27. There's a penalty. Kirby moves through a hole, takes it to the 17-yard line.
Well, Tennessee was lined up offsides. I mean, that looked obvious that the defensive end of this side was lined up offsides.
McCluskey made the stop. The penalty will probably be declined. And will certainly be declined if it is a first down. It's close to it.
I think it's Chuck Smith right here. I think that's number 56 who's lined up. You can see that he is about a half a yard in front of all of his teammates, well into the neutral zone.
Offside on the defense. Will measure.
And they'll probably decline it, I would think, either way. It'll either be 1st and 10, in which case they will definitely decline it, or 2nd and a couple of inches.
A very impressive beginning, though, for Virginia. They got the good kickoff return, and they have put together a nice drive. Kind of a big day so far for the ACC, Al.
Well, the Clemson Tigers destroyed Illinois in the Hall of Fame Bowl at Tampa. Georgia Tech still with designs on winning the national championship. They were very impressive today in the Florida Citrus Bowl, knocking off Nebraska, and certainly they're hoping that Notre Dame wins tonight and knocks off top-ranked Colorado.
Wasn't long ago if you told me the ACC had a big New Year's Day, I would have assumed there was a basketball tournament somewhere.
You bet. First down from the 17-yard line, and that's the fullback, Gary Steele, a 223-pound sophomore from Chesterfield, Virginia, who gets to the 10-yard line on the 11th play of the game's opening drive.
And Herman Moore went off the field a few moments ago. Not good news for the Cavs. He is such an integral part of their offense, the big talented wide receiver. He was looked at by a trainer. They massaged his back, probably put a little, some kind of either a coolant or a heat on his back, and he is still on the sidelines.
Johnny Wilson takes his place, number 8. Brian Satola also in at a wide out spot on 2nd and 3. Big hole for the fullback, Steele, who's in for the touchdown.
Little change up in the philosophy for the Cavs. They don't give the football to their fullbacks. I mean, they'll tell you, George Welch will tell you, our fullbacks are guards. They block.
Steele carried only 35 times in 11 games this season. So here's a guy who gets the ball about 3 times a game. He carries 3 times on that drive and gives the Cavaliers the early lead.
I'd give him a little more often he ran like this. Good moves right here.
They don't even block Kerry Bailey, the one defensive tackle. Oh, and you can see that kick was blocked.
So the conversion attempt is no good. The block by Jeremy Lincoln of the University of Tennessee. And so the extra point attempt by Jake McInerney is no good. George Welsh not happy about that, but certainly impressed by the opening drive of the Cavaliers to march 61 yards to take a 6-0 advantage.
With 39 seconds remaining in the first quarter, Virginia place kicker Jake McInerney split the uprights from 22 yards out to increase the Cavaliers' lead to 9-0. We pick up the action now with 5:06 remaining in the half. Virginia has the ball 2nd down and goal on the Vols' 7-yard line here on ESPN Classic.
Well, happy to report Jeremy Lincoln comes off under his own power, but they check out his shoulder. We'll get a report from the Tennessee bench as play resumes at the 7, 2nd and goal. Floyd Miley takes Lincoln's place at left corner. 2nd and goal at the 7. And this is Fisher, bounces off his own man and takes the ball down to the 1-yard line as Roderick Lewis makes the tackle. It will be 3rd and goal at the 1. Virginia, what a year it's been for them. They were number 1 in football. Their men's and women's soccer teams were each ranked number 1 at one point this year, and their women's basketball team is currently number 1 in the country.
Well, Nicky Fisher's putting on quite a show of running here tonight. He was stopped right at the line of scrimmage, squirmed loose, wriggled it all the way down close to the 1-yard line.
Well, the Twin Towers of Tennessee and their offensive line got all the pregame publicity, but right now it's the offensive line of Virginia that's winning this ball game.
And a little pitch back on 3rd and goal results in a Terry Kirby touchdown.
A Terry Kirby walk into the end zone.
Yeah, the threat of Sean Moore coming down on the option. Tennessee closed down on Sean Moore and an easy pitch for the 6.
And they've made all the big plays tonight. The Cavaliers have had 11 third downs, and they've converted 9 of them with a very imaginative attack.
It's a great way to describe it. It's been just that. They've done everything with all kinds of different personnel. They kept the pass game short for Sean Moore, who is suffering with that sore thumb, but they have been effective.
My gosh, I mean, what a tough group this Virginia bunch is.
Yeah. Thomas Jefferson founded the school.
Wow.
Michael Husted will kick off for the Cavaliers. Anthony Morgan and Dale Carter back to receive for the Volunteers. And we'll get a chance to look at Carter, who led the nation in kickoff returns. From the 4, back out to the 24. And so Virginia doing it in all phases tonight. Offense, defense, and special teams, leading 16-0.
A staggering figure there in time of possession. Virginia almost 21 minutes to Tennessee's 5. I mean, that is not the way that the Tennessee faithful had it envisioned when they were laying out this game plan. I mean, they expected to control the time of possession, control the clock, and the line of scrimmage. They've done none of the above.
From the 24 on 1st down, Kelly rifles it in there. Carl Pickens makes the catch, then has the ball taken away. The say he retains possession. Tyrone Lewis grabbed it out of there, but after the play had been whistled dead.
Well, Lewis actually, I think, picks it up off of the turf. The ball hits the ground. But you could see the knee was down. Pickens' knee hit the ground before the ball came loose.
Here's Tony Thompson. Out to the 41-yard line. A pickup of about 5. 3:40 to go in the half. Virginia on top 16-0.
Little hurry up offense on the part of Tennessee.
Second and 5. Kelly throws it out. Pickens, nice little spin move, picks up the first down and a lot more. He takes it to the 44-yard line.
This guy can do more than just catch the ball, Frank. That was a fine run.
Yeah, we've talked so much about Herman Moore. Carl Pickens, a 6'2" sophomore, and that was a great effort after he caught it. He's the leading receiver as a sophomore. 53 receptions with a big average, over 17 yards himself. Here he is. Now watch this. And that could have been a loss had that tackle been made there by Goodwin, but it wasn't. And good running by Pickens.
Thompson, about an 8-yard gain to the 35-yard line. Pickens is a very versatile guy, too. Not only this year doing his number as a receiver. Last year he was a safety, and he was so good, in fact, he was the defensive MVP in last year's Cotton Bowl.
He had 4 interceptions a year ago, and he's just a great athlete.
Second down and 2:48 to go in the opening half. Kelly throws, caught at the 28-yard line by Alvin Harper, and that's enough for a first down.
You know, we talked about Herman Moore being a 7-foot-plus high jumper. Both Pickens and Alvin Harper, the last guy that caught a pass right here, number 81, are 7-foot-plus high jumpers for Tennessee. I mean, tremendous athletic ability all over the field. Nothing more than a quick turn in there by Harper, and all he had to do was wait for the ball. And Andy Kelly's on target this drive.
At the 29-yard line, here's Tony Thompson picking up 4. Tony Covington comes up for the very audible hit. And we have 2:23 remaining in the half.
And we talked about the high jumpers. We talked earlier about the return man, Dale Carter, and there's a kind of an integration with the track team at Tennessee that has gone on for years. You have seen a lot of speedsters come into the NFL that have been not only football players, but great track stars at Tennessee.
Willie Galt comes to mind.
Absolutely.
Right at the top of that list.
Sam Grady as well.
Stanley
The
Morgan.
Raiders. Tony Thompson should have the first down. He gets it to the 18-yard line. Joe Hall makes the tackle. And this is exactly what Tennessee needs, because they have been stunned, no pun intended, but they may have taken Virginia a little cavalierly coming into this game.
It would appear so, at least to this point. You know, we talk about that defensive back to wide receiver conversion. I think of Deion Sanders with the Falcons, and I look at his running ability after he catches the football. I'd be tempted to make a wide receiver out of Sanders just to get the ball in his hands a certain number of times a game, because he might be the best open field runner in the National Football League.
But Jerry Glanville, who loves defense, I think it'll be a long time before you'll see him on offense. But he is a great open field runner. Of course, he nailed it down against Dallas the other day with that interception in return for a touchdown.
That would be a pretty good pair, wouldn't it? Sanders and Andre Rison. First and 10 at the 18. 1:49 to go in the half. Kelly under a lot of heat gets sacked at the 29-yard line by Benson Goodwin. Ten-yard sack.
Boy, another key play by Virginia. They are doing everything at the right time.
Well, his play action, they moved everyone away from Goodwin. He had no responsibility, and he came in there and was right in Kelly's face.
He's normally a drop linebacker. That time he dropped Kelly. Second and 21. Kelly under heat again, has to throw it away, and it's third and 21 as Ron Carey put the pressure on.
You're right, Al. I mean, Goodwin is their drop linebacker. Slade on the other side is really their pass rush specialist, and it was obvious that Tennessee played that tendency. I mean, they did not account for Goodwin rushing the passer. There's Chris Slade, who had 7 sacks on the year. He's predominantly their guy that comes in and pressures the quarterback. And Virginia doing everything right tonight. The good decisions, a good offensive game plan, and calling all the right blitzes and audibles defensively as well.
3rd down and 21 for Tennessee at the 29-yard line. 1:10 to go in the half. Kelly swings it out. That may be a backward pass. No, they say incomplete. Greg Amsler couldn't handle it. And Tennessee will have to settle for a long field goal attempt. Unless they fake it.
Yeah, with a 1st down all the way inside the 10-yard line, I think Johnny Majors wants to get something up on the scoreboard, and he'll go in at halftime and have a little chat with this ball club. We saw those steely eyes a few moments ago when Virginia got in on their last score, and he is not happy with what he's been watching tonight.
Greg Burke has kicked one from 51 yards this season. That's his longest of the year. This one will come from roughly 46, 47 yards out as Joe Hall comes off the field.
Oh, one of the key men of that defensive line had an abrasion you can see up in the forehead. Of course, usually when you get one of those early in the year, it lasts all year with that helmet.
You better believe it. Every day during practice, it opens back up, and you know what? They don't go away. They leave scars. Lean over here. I'll show you.
I was going to ask you what that was.
46-yard attempt for Burke, and he hooks it, and it is no good. 1:02 remaining in a half that has been dominated by the Virginia Cavaliers, who are #1 in the country going into that Georgia Tech game. Lost to the Yellow Jackets, rebounded the following week to win, but ended their season with losses to Maryland and Virginia Tech, and they have come in unranked.
Well, I know one thing about Burke. When he heads to the sideline after missing a field goal, I'd keep my helmet on.
Well, here's another thing about Burke. In the Auburn-Tennessee game, watch what happens to him after this missed kick, which would have won the game as he heads back toward the sideline. Auburn celebrates. And, well, we'll show you after this next play.
That's what I mean about leaving the helmet on.
Yep. Nicky Fisher picks up about 3. We re-rack it. Here it is as he walks off.
I was watching this game. I couldn't believe this.
One of his teammates in a bit of over-exuberance shot a paper cup at his.
Are kickers ever considered teammates?
Only when they make
Only
them.
when they make it.
Yeah.
2nd and 7.
It's when you're running gassers and look at the kicker over on the other field just booting away over there. There's a sense of separation, to be sure.
Nicky Fisher up to the 38-yard line, and this half will expire totally dominated by a 6-point underdog Virginia Cavalier team.
Gordon Welsh has done a masterful job getting ready for this game. We touched on it, but I mean, they have the Tennessee defense totally unraveled, or they did, at least in the first half. Going underneath, as perhaps the defense should have thought Sean Moore would be doing with that sore thumb. But they have been able to throw underneath. They've been able to run the football outside. They've run it inside, and they have just dominated thus far.
Dale Carter to receive. That's Michael Husted ready to kick off for the Cavaliers. Second half is underway at New Orleans. Carter backs up, fields at the 1. And they continue to do a great job against the man who led the nation in kickoff returns this season, as the tackle was made by number 32, David Brown, who's got an injured calf. I believe is Jared Washington, who's been a force on their special teams tonight, will be taken up here. Tennessee in the first half, as you can see, those first 4 drives amounted to nothing. Then the last one was a sustained drive, but they missed a field goal.
As you pointed out, Al, this is a team that has averaged over 36 points, over 400 yards of offense throughout the season. So we talked at length about the Cavs' offensive output tonight, but how about their defense? They've done a great job.
And that was the big question. Scoring leaders coming in. Now you've got David Klingler at Houston and Ty Detmer, the Heisman Trophy winner at BYU, Mark McGuire at San Diego State, Sean Moore at Virginia. So great quarterbacks leading the top 4 offensive powers this year. Tony Thompson takes the ball out to the 27-yard line.
But when you looked at that graphic and you saw the University of Tennessee there down towards the bottom, I think it's safe to say that no one on that list played a schedule quite the equal of the University of Tennessee's. I mean, an extraordinary schedule for Tennessee this season.
And a very long schedule as well, as on second and short, Roland Poles picks up the first. They started the season on August 26th, a long time ago, against Colorado in the annual, or the first annual, I guess, Pigskin Kickoff Classic.
Out in Disneyland with a 31-31 tie.
Right.
Another tie against Auburn, and of course losses to Alabama and Notre Dame.
Tennessee 1st and 10 up at the 29-yard line. Tony Thompson, the SEC's leading ground gainer this season, scurries for 7. Covington and Slade converge on the tackle. And Tennessee going without a huddle. Hurry up offense here. Second down call at 2 at the 36-yard line. The up back, the fullback, Roland Poles picks up the first down. So back-to-back first downs on Tennessee's initial possession of the second half.
Tennessee remaining right at that line of scrimmage, trying to gain momentum however they can.
First down at the 43-yard line, and the right tackle for the Volunteers clearly involved Anton Davis.
Anton was well across the line. The All-American.
You look at these 2 tackles, the Twin Peaks, Dan. What do you think professionally as prospects for tackles?
Well, they both certainly have the size.
False start in the offense. 5 yards, 1st and 10.
That's Davis that went off sides, but really when you look at both of them, Davis is probably the one who's rated higher by the scouts. There's Charles McCray, the left tackle, but I think he's the guy that exhibits more tenacity and maybe a little more toughness on the field. But Anton Davis, the prototypical, I think, offensive tackle in the National Football League. Big, strong, with excellent feet, great feet.
1st and 15 is Tony Thompson. Takes it out to the 42, pickup of 4. Carey in on the tackle.
Good time to be talking about him because he opened a pretty good hole over the right side. There's about 310 and Tone Davis.
Yeah, that's I would think on the conservative side.
2nd and 11, short drop by Kelly, throws the out route to Vince Moore, who picks up some extra yardage after escaping, taking it to the 49-yard line, escaping Tyrone Lewis, and setting up a 3rd down and about 2.
Vince Moore only had 17 receptions over the season, and the Cavaliers are doing a good job shutting down the 2 outside receivers. That would be Alvin Harper and Carl Pickens, but Vince Moore has provided the big plays, and you saw one of the balls collapse on the sideline.
Lewis goes hobbling off. He's the guy who had the interception in the first half. 3rd down and 2. And Thompson cannot pick up the first down. He picks up only a yard. P.J. Killian makes the stop. Virginia all night long has been converting on 3rd downs. That's been the key to their offensive success. Tennessee is now 0 for 4 on 3rd down conversions.
And they're going to have to go on 4th down. You're down 16-0. And this is where I think that offensive line has got to do something right here if Johnny Major is going to have this Tennessee team in this football game.
And there's not much of a hesitation by Coach John.
It's 4th and it's about a yard and a half for the first down. Play clock almost down to the nub. Thompson looks for the first and I think has it.
He needs a spot.
Yep. Gene Tolliver, they have to get, as you can see, just inside the 47-yard line. They put it down in the middle of the logo.
Somewhat of a risky play by Tennessee, handing it off to the I-back.
Going to be close, but I think he has it.
Takes a long time for that guy to get back to the line of scrimmage. He's starting 7 yards back, and on a short yardage play, most coaches like to go to somewhat of a more quick hitting play than handing it to the I-back, Frank.
Exactly, particularly when you have the big offensive line that Tennessee has.
By half the length of the football, first down.
You can understand how maybe Tennessee's starting to doubt a little bit of everything. The way they have dominated not only offensively but defensively. They need to put something up on the scoreboard, and I think they'll be back to Tennessee football.
11:35 left, third quarter. Virginia on top 16-0. As Kelly airs it out, and it's knocked down at the 8-yard line. Carl Pickens, the intended receiver. Keith McNeans came over to break it up. The pass underthrown.
Well,
Pickens did a good job of breaking that one up. That was picked off all the way. That was just thrown up for grabs.
That's interception number 3 by Kelly. If it's not for that sensational play, as you said, Frank, Carl Pickens is he's a good 5 yards toward the sidelines of where that ball is thrown. I mean, Pickens isn't even. Look how far he has to come back to the inside to break this up. I mean, and he did get there early. He did get there early, but he was going for the football. A great play by Pickens. Poor throw by Kelly.
2nd and 8 from the 47-yard line. The fake to Thompson. Kelly throws. Open man is Moore. Stays in bounds, then steps out, has the first down. So Vince Moore, on a night when we expected Alvin Harper and Carl Pickens to be the key guys, it's been Moore who has, for the moment, taken the spotlight.
Kelly could have taken either one of 2 receivers here. He selected Vince Moore, the underneath man, but look how wide open Anthony Morgan is. And now here comes the little one, Vince Moore, down the sidelines for the first down. And Moore is turning into the offense thus far for Tennessee.
4 catches for him for 78 yards. Tony Thompson for 5. Thompson to the Virginia 23 with 11:10 to go in the third. P.J. Killian, the tackle.
Boy, you can see Anton Davis there really trying to excite his guys. The big senior trying to exert some sort of a leadership role there as well. And that's what Tennessee needs right now. They need somebody to get fired up, a little mad, a little upset.
2nd down and 5 at the 23. Kelly complete. Anthony Morgan, he has a first down at the 13-yard line, tackled by Jason Wallace.
Well, Tennessee's starting to put together what looks like a Virginia drive. This is the way that Virginia in the first half was mixing up their plays, working both sides of the field, going deep, going short. A good-looking drive underway here by the Volunteers.
Something they picked up probably early in the first half, and they come back with it. The cornerback playing way off. Jason Wallace playing way off of Morgan. They go with a little hitch.
Gain of 2. Thompson takes it to the 11-yard line. 2nd down and 8.
Kelly getting the plays called in from the bench. Kelly on the field. Looks over, gets the play, steps into a huddle now. Alternating between going with the no huddle offense and the huddle offense.
Second and 8 from the 11-yard line. Kelly flips it out to Moore. He can only take it to the 10. He is stopped by Jason Wallace. And this opening drive of the third quarter now, Tennessee faced with a 3rd down and 7 from the 10.
They kept this drive alive, but keep in mind, in midfield, they had to go on 4th down, and now the Cav defense is toughened again inside their 10. They need a big play here.
They need a conversion here. They haven't converted a 3rd down tonight. Kelly looks and throws, and it is caught inside the 1 somehow, some way by Alvin Harper. How in the world did he catch it? But now the other official comes in and overrules and says no. One guy said yes, the other guy says no, and now they're going to confer.
Of course, we're going to look at it. They don't look at the replay in college football. Of course, we're not too used to that. That was obviously a one-hopper, and they will bring it back.
It is ruled an incomplete pass.
He snaps that right off the carpet.
Pretty doggone good effort by Harper.
Yeah, good hands. That other high jumper. This time he goes down low to make a good effort, but the official was right there.
Well, that's the official.
He did call, that's the one who called it good. And
yeah, he called it good. The other guy called it
reversed it was across the field.
Field goal attempt coming up here. Greg Burke, who missed one from 46. This is a chip shot.
Oh, another.
But a wobbly snap and a wobbly hold. Robert Todd, the Tennessee offensive tackle, looking on as his team tries to sustain a drive as we commence quarter number 4 from the 31-yard line. First down, Andy Kelly hands to Tony Thompson. And Thompson is off to the races into Virginia territory. Still on his feet at the 35, down at the 31 by Jason Wallace.
Hey, that's what Tennessee needed.
Boy, and what a block at the point of attack by Charles McCray. Boy, the offensive left tackle, number 70, Charles McCray, got that one started at the line of scrimmage. Here's McCray on the left side, but watch the lead blocking over here on this side. And then what an outstanding effort by Thompson. Look at that. Tremendous work. Slade gets blown off the line, and this is special.
Carl Pickens also providing a block as Thompson again carries to the 30, so that's a gain of 2 after a gain of 38. Killian and Washington in on the tackle.
We talked about the weapons, the depth of the weapons of this Tennessee team, that maybe late in the game they might come into play, and Cavalier defense showing signs of maybe getting a little weary out there. The big man of that offensive line hammering on them.
2nd and 8. First minute of the 4th quarter. Virginia up by 13. Deflected, incomplete. Hit down by Ron Carey. He was the guy who got the deflection in the 90s. Ron Carey, senior out of Glen Allen, Virginia. 6'3", and needed all of it to knock it down. He said, "Hey, watch this up on the board."
Yeah. if you can't get close, get up.
Yep. Just reached up there and ticked it.
Yep. Carey a good 4 yards away from Kelly, but timed his leap and just grazed the ball with his little finger.
Just a little tick.
3rd and 8 from the 30. Caught at the 15-yard line by Pickens for a first down, and it's the first time in the game Tennessee has converted on 3rd down tonight.
A little round of Tony Thompson kicking through tackles, seemingly fired up this Tennessee offense. And now their big man, their leading receiver across the middle. They protect the quarterback Kelly long enough to make this move, and a good move by Pickens, finding the open gap. Kelly got it there.
First and 10 at the 15-yard line. Thompson bursts down to the 7-yard line. Covington makes the tackle. Anton Davis provided the block.
Well, this is the drive of the night, at least to this point. Tennessee starting with their backs at their own goal line. Where'd this thing start? Was it inside the 5?
I think at the 6.
The 6?
Yep, 6-yard line.
A most impressive drive by Tennessee.
After Virginia could have salted it away had they moved in. 2nd and 2 from the 7. And this 9th play of the drive. Tony Thompson scores. What a move.
Well, what a couple of blocks out front. Roland Poles and Anthony Morgan. Both of those guys. Here's the point of attack. Again, working to the left side. McCray, Vaughn Reeves, the tight end. But here comes Poles, number 42. And then to the left of your screen, working on the outside, was Morgan. And Tony Thompson just takes it in easily. A great drive by Tennessee.
They did it every which way. They did it with the big run from Tony Thompson. They did it in the air. And they've got something going. And keep in mind that misconversion early on the first touchdown on the part of Virginia.
Folks from Tennessee celebrating to the streams of Rocky Top.
I would say unofficially the Tennessee faithful outnumber the Virginia fans by, what do you say, 3-1 maybe?
How about 10-1? Everything is orange here.
Well, that's Virginia sees orange too.
Well, they dress in blue with their colors, though. You can see a little sprinkling of it.
In a way, this should be the Orange Bowl.
The unofficial count on Bourbon Street, though, has Tennessee, a vast majority of the fans here in New Orleans.
Jared Washington runs it back from the 12 out to the 32-yard line.
I think Al pointed out earlier, Tennessee knows how to go to bowls. They have had a good time here. They stumbled over a few of them.
Numbers on the Tennessee scoring drive as they go from their own 6 into the end zone.
And a 94-yard drive and only 2:24 is using the clock as good as you can without it being an 80-yard pass play in there. A couple big runs by Thompson.
Well, we got these fans back in it.
First and 10 from the 32. 12:45 to go. Sean Moore pitches it back to Roland Poles. Ooh, and he gets banged out by that's Terry Kirby, the ball carrier who gets banged out of bounds by Thomas and Carter.
Dale Carter, number 18, is only a junior, but he could be a good-looking pro prospect. 6'2", 185-pounder, a great speed. First team, as you can see, all SEC. And he really roams around that field and also leads the nation in kickoff returns.
2nd and 4. Carter has 8 tackles tonight. That's Steele picking up only 2, takes it to the 40-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down and 2.
Think about Carter. He's just cat-like quick out there. He moves around. He comes up. He can turn it back to the inside. He'll come up and hit it at the line of scrimmage. Carter's up looking at a lot of players, how they're going to make it, where their future is.
Carter's from Oxford, Georgia, got away from the Bulldogs to get up to Tennessee.
They said he used to collect Gila monsters as a kid, but I don't know whether I can believe that or not. 3rd down and 2 from the 40. Moore on a key play. Ooh, does he have it? I think he does. It's going to depend on the spot, but he appears to have it by inches. Darrell Hardy makes the tackle.
I must have missed that in the press guide.
I read everything.
It's actually durable.
First and 10 for Virginia.
Moore hands it off. And through the middle, Terry Kirby for 7. 2nd down. Spotted at the 49-yard line with 11:15 remaining in the game.
Very important drive for Virginia to try and recapture some of the momentum. Second and 4.
picking up only a couple now is Kirby. So once more, Virginia is faced with a key third down play. 10:45 remaining in the game. Darryl Hardy again makes the tackle.
Talk about a team, though, that's responding like champions. I mean, all the momentum had swung in favor of Tennessee, and George Welch's team now, when they had to mount a drive, when they had to string some first downs together, they have been able to do it. And that is the mark of a good football team.
And Kirby, I don't think he has it. Floyd Miley, who had that key interception on the last series, came up to make the tackle. And from here, it looks as if they are going to be a little bit short. You know, you look at that interception by Miley before. You keep in mind Jeremy Lincoln was hurt, possible separated shoulder. He had to leave the game, and it was Miley who took his place.
Oh, a key decision on the part of George Welch at midfield on 4th down and short. He is going to go, and again another injured Tennessee player, and that's
Miley. So they're really banged up at the corners now.
I think part of the decision on the part of George Welch to go on this 4th down with a 6-point lead is the momentum that has apparently shifted somewhat to Tennessee. I mentioned a moment ago, key drive for Virginia. They want to keep it alive.
This is a big gamble. Yeah. If they're going to really go for it, they may just come up and try to draw them offside.
I'm hard pressed to see the wisdom in going for this.
Yeah.
Other than they've just watched Tennessee go 96 yards on another drive. I think this is the time you get your punter in there and try and get him down near the 10-yard line. How often can they do it?
I dare them to go 96 yards again.
4th and inches, if they do indeed snap it, and they do, and it's a sneak, and it's going to be close. Sean Moore.
I think he did get enough out of it.
George Welch, he's afraid to look.
Yeah, excuse me while I try to coach this game.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Anybody got a phone book I can stand on here? Well, yeah.
Should be entitled to a little more space than that. I'm in charge here.
And Sean Moore has the first down. Big gamble, and it pays off.
I know you go back to the end of a football game and you think back, what is the turning point? Where did we really clinch it? Not to say that that's definitely going to happen or anything, but you go back to a decision, a risky decision on the part of George Welch to keep Tennessee's offense off the field as long as he can. And he goes on 4th and short at midfield and gets it.
First down at the 47-yard line. Steele. Gang tackled and thrust back after a pickup of 1. Second down. It's Hardy again, who's been in on a number of tackles tonight.
And the 3rd wide receiver coming in now, Johnny Wilson. We saw him earlier. So we got Herman Moore going to the top of your screen. He's the big 6'5" receiver.
2nd and 9. Virginia up by 6. 42 to go. And Moore for Moore, but too high.
Oh, and he was open, and at a 6'5", he's pretty difficult to overthrow, but a bad pass by Sean Moore again, playing with that very sore thumb. He's a little short of the first down, but he probably could have turned it into a first down reception had the ball been somewhere where he could have got his hands on it.
Herman unable to spring loose tonight. He has caught only 2 balls for 13 yards. 3rd and 9. Sean Moore's throw is low and incomplete for Dave Sweeney. Wouldn't have had the first down anyway. Chuck Smith that time came charging through and forced the low throw by Moore.
Yeah, Tennessee gambled with the blitz, and it paid off. Sean Moore was having to throw retreating off the back foot and factor in a bad thumb. He just didn't get enough on the ball to get it there.
I think that's a lot of it, Dan. We've watched him all night, and when he can get set, he has the time. He can throw the short ball, but off balance with a sore thumb, he just can't get it there.
And Garneau to punt.
Ooh.
Rush was on.
And there's the flag.
Flag is down. And the kick is brought back to the 20-yard line.
Oh, this is going to be a Virginia first down.
J.J. McCleskey was the guy who came through near block, but instead he's going to be the guy who gets the flag.
He's complaining, but he went right into the kicker.
Roughing the kicker and the defense. First.
Oh. Well, you coach that, you teach it, you get in a bowl situation. You've got to go in front of the kicker. He thought he had it, obviously. He just wipes out the kicker, Garneau.
He's contending that he was pushed by Jeffries, 17.
It's hard to tell from that angle right there whether or not Jeffries actually made contact with McCleskey. Let's go ahead. Right here, you can see, watch this collision right here. Here's Jeffries, here's McCleskey. Is he touching him? Is he knocking him back into the kicker? That's what McCleskey is maintaining. I can't tell.
To no avail. First down, 31-yard line after the penalty. And good second and third effort. Ball loose, but after the play is over. Nicky Fisher gains 5, and he's shaken up. Nicky Fisher, one of the alternating tailbacks. He and Terry Kirby, he's doing a great job all season long. And timeout on the field with 8:01, and that may have been in the NFL,
well,
a definite review and a probable fumble.
Guess who's taking out a little frustration? Watch McCleskey come in from the right side, put a helmet right in Fisher's ribs. Boy, that's a helmet right in the ribs, right there. And that ball very close to the knee being down, but it actually looked like the ball was working its way loose before the knee touched. But at full speed, you cannot expect an official to see that and make that call. He's going to be ruled down by contact every time in that situation.
I think Fisher just had the wind knocked out of him. Fortunately, I was concerned for rib damage for a moment, but he walked off and looks to be in good shape.
Well, that's a tough call for any zebra, college or pro.
You're right.
McCleskey is really heated over that call, the roughing the kicker.
2nd and 5 at the 26. Under 8 minutes to go. 16-10 Virginia. Big rush, gets it away and into a lot of traffic. The ball was thrown. Darryl Hardy is the guy.
Darryl Hardy
right
is
in the middle of it again.
All over the field tonight, and talk about being in the right place there. He's got 2 linemen right around him, and he also hits the receiver and breaks up the pass. That's a big time play there by Hardy.
Third down 4 at the 26. Virginia, great success on third down tonight. Often prayer for Tennessee. Sean Moore throws off his back foot and incomplete. Darryl Hardy again right in the center of things.
Looked like Darryl Hardy was trying to avoid catching it. I mean, it looked like he really didn't want to catch that ball. Stunned as he was to have it right in his hand.
Fourth down. Let's go back. Here's the kick to the penalty anyway that kept the drive alive.
Here's McCleskey down here, and Jeffries. I believe this is Jeffries here. He's going to come out and try to block him. Now let's take a look at it. Yeah, there's Jeffries. I don't think Jeffries hit him. I didn't see much in the way of contact.
Well, here's McInerney, and he hits one from 43. So that penalty keeps Virginia going, gets them within field goal range. And that's a huge field goal because it means that the Vols are going to have to score twice right now. University of Virginia leading Tennessee 19-10. In what would be a pretty good upset in light of the fact Tennessee was favored by 6 coming in. The kickoff comes down to the 5-yard line. Anthony Morgan gets popped out at the 20-yard line. Was expected to compete.
The White Shark.
At the 20-yard line after the 26. The pass from Andy Kelly is taken in by number 1 Vince Moore. Gain of 6.
Greg is an exciting player.
Well, can Tennessee recreate their last drive?
Second down or 5 from the 26-yard line. But he throws. That's a first down to that man Moore again. Vince Moore having a big night. First down, 6:53 to go.
How many he's caught for the evening, but he came in tonight with only 17 on the season. He's made the big plays.
Well, right now Virginia is only rushing 3 men. They're dropping the other 8 back into a deep zone, and if Tennessee makes that adjustment, throwing that 5- and 6-yard pass underneath that zone, it'll be there every time.
First and 10 from the 38. Here's Greg Ambler.
Whoa!
Good move to the 47-yard line of the Cavs.
Crack team again. They're hurdling a would-be tackler. Once again, it's a screen pass. He gets a good block into the inside, and watch this.
A move you don't expect from a guy wearing black high-top shoes. This is as good as it gets right there.
Right over Goodwin.
Wow.
On the 47-yard line, catch is made. 6-yard pickup. Mark Adams, the tight end, to the 41-yard line. His first catch of the encounter. And slow and rising.
You hate to see that spinning action, and you just wondered if Mark Adams, as he went down, was going to get up from that one.
Ron Reeves will take his place.
With a full 360 with a couple of tacklers hanging on. Oh, yeah. Not a good one to watch.
Second and 4 from the 41. Ambler seeks the first down. He's close. 37-yard line. Jason Wallace makes the stop. 5:45 to go. And in the Orange Bowl in Miami, number 1 ranked Colorado trying to maintain that ranking, leading 10-9. Of course, Georgia Tech's going to say they're number 1. Miami's going to say, hey, look, we should be number 1 after killing Texas.
Tennessee and the Buffaloes played to a 31-31 tie first game of the season.
3rd and inches, and that's a first down. Greg Ambler taking it. So Amsler's been their man. Tony Thompson, who's been their key guy tonight, takes a breather as Ambler has been the heavy-duty man on this drive.
Big man, too. 6'2", 232-pounder.
He's not Gazelle-like, but he's getting the job done in spades. Timeout. Timeout called by Virginia. Virginia on top by a score of 19-10. Tennessee driving. We have 5:10 remaining in the game. And the Vols have it at the 28-yard line, 1st and 10. Andy Kelly throws. That man Ambler again. Good move. First down. Takes it down to the 16-yard line. Kelly and Ambler leading the Tennessee Volunteers down the field.
Ambler playing a major role in this drive, coming into the game during the season. Only 52 attempts. Tony Thompson was the key man in the running game, and only 2 receptions. There are about 20 receptions coming into tonight. He's been a big factor. Going to change off now at the line of scrimmage. Quarterback Kelly.
1st and 10 at the 17-yard line. Ambler takes it to the 15. have been doing it without Tony Thompson, who's been their key man tonight and performed so brilliantly on that last drive. They let Hamsler carry the ball here on just about every other play. And with good success. Second down and 8. 4.5 to go. Good protection.
Wide open.
Man in the end zone. Touchdown. Carl Pickens.
Lone defense. Pickens all alone, standing in the end zone. It was what appeared to be a zone defense. At least the cornerback thought somebody was going to pick Pickens up. He let him go with a hardly even trying to bump him, and Pickens was all in the end zone all alone.
Tyrone Lewis is a corner to that side, and you're right, Frank. He looks confused. He thinks he's playing a zone. He thinks he's got some deep outside help because he just releases Pickens, and all of a sudden now we have a 2-point ball game.
Greg Burke moves it through. That makes it 19-17.
Yeah, that is a blown coverage. He's locked on man-to-man, thought he had a zone, and Tennessee gets an easy touchdown. It's not who scores first, who scores last.
In New Orleans, Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Dierdorf. This wasn't the most glamorous matchup on New Year's Day, but it's been anything but a turkey. Holy mackerel, it's been a good one. From the Superdome, 19-17. The Cavs lead by 2. Tennessee to kick off. Joey Chapman puts it in the air. Fielded at the 5-yard line by Jared Washington. Out to the 32 he comes. And if the Vols have to take their timeouts on defense, they have all 3 remaining.
Offensive coordinator Tommy O'Brien. Final word, Sean Moore.
Notice the difference there? The only constant being an interception in each half. Not a completed pass here in the second half for Sean Moore.
And all night long, Herman Moore has been a non-factor. Just 2 grabs. First down from the 32-yard line. Sean Moore.
Oh, there's a flag.
Whoa.
Couple flags.
Yeah. Another one. 3 now down to the field. A couple of separate penalties here. Here's Dean Kramer.
Players participating for the defense. 15 at the end of the run.
I'm glad they replaced his mic.
Well, we caught the first part, which was that Tennessee had 12 men on the field.
And then a personal foul, I think, was the other one on Ernest Fields
of Tennessee as well, and this ball is going to be way down the field.
Yeah, double penalty.
And a great play by Sean Moore. We having trouble throwing the football. I think he probably was sent out there by Tommy O'Brien.
Well, I mean, that's a killer.
That tacked on at the end of the run. Yeah. So a great effort by Sean Moore.
22-yard run and 2 penalties. First down. Virginia at the 31-yard line after all that. 4:09 remaining in the game.
That last play started at their own 31.
Cavs lead by a deuce, and Moore gets tripped up, takes it to the 29, picks up 2. Tripped over his own man, Mark Dixon.
Dixon was just spread eagle there on the ground, and Sean Moore had to leap over him.
Johnny Majors, well, he and George Welsh are no strangers to each other. They faced each other 4 times, but years ago when Welsh was at Navy and Majors was at Pitt, and Majors won 3 of those 4 encounters.
The Panthers had a lot of good football teams back then.
Look at the veteran coach with 22 years from Majors, the head coach, and 19 for Welsh.
Second down and 8. This is Terry Kirby to the 26. It's going to set up a key 3rd and 5 with 3:20 remaining. Virginia's led all the way. Meanwhile, final score at the Orange Bowl. There it is. Top-ranked Colorado holds on. And no matter how the voting goes this week, there is going to be enormous controversy. Let's face it. Colorado wins by a point, but Georgia Tech wins very convincingly today, the number 2 team, and Miami blows away Texas.
But when the number 1 team in the country beats Notre Dame, how do they surrender number 1?
You would think.
I don't see how it could happen.
But, you know, there's going to be a lot of griping anyway. 3rd down and 5. Sean Moore throws and incomplete.
The tough part for Colorado is if they do end up the season number 1, you wonder how many years are going to go by before every time they talk about Colorado being number 1, they aren't going to mention the 5th down game against Missouri.
Well, a lot of teams are going to be crowing their number 1 tomorrow.
Yeah.
But
they're going to invoke that reason, and that was a long time ago. I don't see where that plays now.
4th down, and McInerney comes in to attempt the field goal. It'll be spotted at the 34-yard line, and the whistle sounds before the play gets off. 2:37 left on the game clock. Field goal would put them up by 5. It was 4th and 5 just prior to the whistle. Flag lies at the line of scrimmage.
Well,
I thought I saw 2 flags.
The defense threatened the offense. The offense picked up. No flag.
the defense threatened the offense. The offense picked up. And twirly-whirly, we have no flag.
Would you translate that?
They get to do it again.
Okay. McInerney again, 44-yard field goal effort. And this one is good. Michael Husted kicks off. And Dale Carter tops in the country in kickoff returns from a yard deep. And they've been covering him well all night long. Taken down at the 19-yard line. So a long drive is exactly what Tennessee's going to need. Virginia's going to contend they recovered a fumble, but the officials say no. And we have 2:24 remaining. And the Volunteers with all of their timeouts, all 3.
The Volunteers making a big comeback here in the second half, down by 16-0 at halftime. And their last scoring drive, one of 96 yards. So they're certainly capable. It could be maybe just the overwhelming size and strength of this offensive line that's starting to wear even more on a much smaller Virginia defense.
Well, Tennessee has scored its 2 TDs tonight on their last 2 possessions. From the 20-yard line, Andy Kelly throws it out to Amser. Nice catch. And then Amser to the 26-yard line. He really should have thought about getting out of bounds. Benson Goodwin makes the tackle.
I don't know that Amsler has ever had a better half than he's had here in the second half of this game. Blocking, receiving, running with the ball. I mean, he has had an extraordinary half of football, and this is very typical of the half he's played. A fine one-handed stab.
2nd and 5, and again.
Oh, that's a lateral. That's a lateral.
Ball. No. They say no. They call it an incomplete pass.
Oh, give me a break.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what that was, I think. Boy, that sure looked like a lateral. I mean, that's a lateral all the way, and a major, major break for Johnny Major's Tennessee club. I mean, let's watch where the ball is released by Kelly. He's standing right at the 18-yard line, and he throws it back to about the 17 and a half. That's a lateral.
Last night it would have been a turnover. 3rd and 6 from the 25. Kelly throws and converts on 3rd down to Carl Pickens. Forward progress nets him the first up at the 33 with 1:44 to go.
Okay, take a look. Here we are right on the 18-yard line, and let's watch where this ball is thrown. You can see the ball travels backwards, actually towards the 17. And Amsler drops it. The ball hits right between the 17 and the 18.
And I think that was deflected, and that might have played partially into that ruling. But a great reception by Pickens to come down with that football.
At the 45-yard line.
Concentration by this wide receiver to hold on to that after the blow he took.
I think Anton Davis is down on the field.
That's going to stop the clock for the moment with 1:32 remaining.
Kelly fires it in. Pickens goes up for it. He knows he's going to get hammered, and he does.
Oh, what a great concentration.
Covington, the cornerback, put one on Pickens, but he was able to concentrate and hold on. That's a great reception.
How about the passing lane that his offensive line gave him there? I mean, the middle parted. Andy Kelly had a beautiful sight line down the middle of the field.
Kelly is now 20 of 29, 243 yards. Pretty good numbers, but if you haven't watched the whole game, it's only been on the last couple of series that he's gotten a hot hand. 1:32 to play. Virginia has led all the way. They dominated the first half, but Tennessee has come on to score on back-to-back possessions here in the fourth quarter. And they've done it without Tony Thompson, who gained 145 yards. Kelly fires, and he's lucky it wasn't intercepted at the 22 by Keith McMeans. He was one of 4 Cavaliers in the area.
Boy, McMeans, I mean, that's the end of the ball game if he's able to pull it down, and he might have had too long to look at it. That ball was thrown directly at McMeans, and he's not able to catch it.
As Kelly knows, he should not have thrown. He had all the time in the world, probably too much. He got the dancing feet in there, and then he had plenty of time to just throw it away, but he almost threw the fatal interception.
Second down and 10 from the 45-yard line. Draw play to Tony Thompson, who was just reinserted into the game, and he's dragged down at the 40-yard line on a nice ankle tackle by Jason Wallace. And Tennessee will spend its first time out here with 12 remaining.
What hustle by Jason Wallace. What a play by Wallace to catch Thompson and bring him down. Not only does he stop the play, but he keeps him in bounds. Great hustle by Wallace.
Superb cornerback play by both Wallace and Covington.
You're going to see here that Thompson has an angle heading for the sideline, but from the right of your screen, look at the hustle and the ankle grab that time by Jason Wallace from Hampton, Virginia.
When play resumes, it'll be 3rd and 5. A critical play coming for Tennessee at the 40-yard line. 22-17. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining.
Thompson's coming out, and Amsler, number 47, who has not used that extensively during the regular season, but has seen a lot of work here in the second half of this game, comes into the lineup. He's been effective as a runner and a receiver. Big Greg Amsler, the senior running back.
We talked about Kelly getting the hot hand on the last 2 drives. And we can take a look at Andy's numbers when you break them down. First half next to nothing, 2 interceptions, 5 of 9, and a real hot second half. Third and 5 at the 40. Harper is the man in motion. Harper makes the catch. Harper has the first down. Harper gets out of bounds at the 33-yard line. And coming out by McMeans.
And guess who throws a critical block?
Yeah.
To give Kelly time to throw that ball. How about Greg Amsler? What? This kid is doing everything. And right now, George Welsh is having to pace the sidelines, wondering whether his defense is going to flounder. Look at that block by Amsler. He puts Chris Slade on the ground, and this club is getting hot at the right time.
1:08 to go. Kelly dumps it off for Amsler. He takes it, gets out of bounds at the 30. Minimal gain. 6 seconds gone from the clock. 1:02 remaining. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Johnny Majors, his team winning its second straight SEC championship. 31st time Tennessee has participated in a bowl game. Virginia in a bowl for only the 4th time in the history of the school. Second down and 7 at the 30. He throws. Did he stay inbounds at the 23? Yes, the catch is made by Von Reeves. A little bit short, though, of the first down. It's going to be 3rd and 1.
Well, it does a couple of things, though. It stops the clock, number 1. And here is Kelly looking downfield, and he has to deliver it to Reeves, who does a good job of keeping the feet inbounds. Actually, the foot inbounds here in college football. And we were also here last night with the 1-foot inbound rule for Saints and the Rams.
3rd down and a short one, and Kelly's going to go for it through the air, and incomplete, intended for Pickens.
Ooh. Well, there's
3rd and short.
That's what happens when you throw a ball. Now, you're right. You have reason to bend over and think a little bit, John Majors. I don't know if Kelly was expecting his receiver to be a little shorter, or if that pass was just as ugly as it looked like it was.
Well, 4th down. Tennessee has to convert here.
It was a bad time to have a foul up here also.
And it's Ansler who keeps it going, takes it to the 17-yard line. 1st down, Volunteers.
And again, the clock is your friend in college football. The way it stops after you get a 1st down.
They'll also stop it here for a longer period because Tennessee wants to take a timeout. Timeout, Volunteers. They're down to 1 remaining. The ball is at the 17-yard line with 50 seconds left.
Well, John Majors has seen his club come through with some big wins this year, and boy, he's looking for another comebacker right here. Nice wins against the Wildcats of Tennessee, the Temple Owls, Florida Gators. I mean, it's been a good Tennessee year. All John Majors wants is one more.
Last game of the day goes right down to the wire.
His eyes blinking all over the nation.
1st and 10 at the 17-yard line. Fake to Thompson. Kelly throws. It's caught at the 5-yard line. Harper is taken down. It's going to be 1st and goal. Clock momentarily stops on the 1st down. 40 seconds remaining.
That's right. Andy Kelly's looking over. Do you want me to just throw the ball down and stop it? I'd save that timeout. The clock still has not started to turn because of its stoppage on the 1st down.
And Tennessee will have their offense ready to go as they signal to start the clock.
And timeout is called by Virginia.
Not a bad call, though, just to regroup, because they would have snapped that ball, got the incompletion, and well, Virginia wants to make sure they have got the right defensive unit out there.
If Virginia would have known what Tennessee was going to do, as we look back to the last play, the completion to Alvin Harper, but Tennessee was going to just use it down, throw the ball away, and stop the clock.
Let him use it.
Virginia would have been better suited to let Tennessee go ahead and do that, waste the play, and then only have 3 downs to work with. But of course, they weren't privy to that. They didn't see Kelly look over to the sidelines to inquire of his coach, John Majors, is that what I should do?
And George Welch, he wanted to make certain that he had the right people in there defensively.
I don't know if that was a squirrel cap or whatever that guy was wearing, but a dangling fur of some type.
George Welch, former Navy quarterback with a great career as a player, 19 years of head coach, how many years of Navy, and then this is his 9th season here at the University of Virginia, heading for the conclusion of a 4th consecutive winning season for the Cavs.
1st and goal. Kelly's been red hot In the fourth quarter, he gives it to Amsler. He takes it to the 1-yard line. Kelly comes charging in to take a timeout. That's their last. McMeans makes the tackle. 2nd and goal when play resumes.
Roland Poles now comes in. Tony Thompson is there. Poles a good blocking back, and Thompson, of course, the leading rusher for the Vols.
2nd and goal. Thompson is the tailback. Poles is the fullback. They come up in a power I with Amsler in that power set as well. And they give it to Thompson, and Thompson's in.
Sure. Now, right now, I think Tennessee would be better suited to go for 2 points. If they would go for 2, that would give them a 25-22 lead. So a kick an extra point makes it 24-22, and a field goal can beat you.
Sure they will. As Thompson slices through for the touchdown. 151 yards on the night. And that last one of those 151, the most important.
Right. And Tennessee is going to go for the deuce.
They have Pickens set all the way out to the right. Harper comes in motion. Kelly rolls that way, tries to find the open man in the back of the end zone. It's Pickens, and the pass is incomplete. Covering on the play was Jason Wallace. Tennessee already celebrating. But still 31 seconds remain, and all Virginia has to do is somehow get the ball in field goal range, down by a point. And Jake McInerney, their field goal kicker, has hit one from 51 yards this year. Herman Moore tonight, if you're just tuning in, the All-America wide receiver, has caught only 2 passes. 13 yards. He has been a non-factor. 31 seconds left. The Cats have 1 timeout. Sean Moore in this half hasn't completed a pass. He's 0 for 8. Short kick taken up at the 26-yard line and run back to the 38-yard line by Dave Sweeney.
That's not a bad place to start.
Not bad.
That's the problem with that short kick.
Well, remember now, if you get the ball to the 30-yard line, that's about a 47-yard field goal attempt.
Aha, we're going to see Matt Blundin. Blunden, rather, who filled in for Moore in the final game of the season. It was a loss to Virginia Tech, but he's a pocket passer with a strong arm, 6'7", and he threw it for over 300 yards in that loss. He can fire it.
I think it's a good move.
I do too.
London back to throw, has it deflected, and nobody saw it, and it's incomplete. Chris Mims was the guy who knocked it down.
And a guy, another in a long list of Tennessee players that has had a nice game tonight. Chris Mims has been around the ball and made a bunch of plays.
Not like Blunden has not done a lot of work. He's taken a lot of snaps because they weren't certain that Sean Moore would be able to start tonight. So he's had the work, even though he's coming off the bench. Well, terrific pressure spot. He has worked with the offense a lot.
You're asking a great deal of Blunden, and I think it's just indicative of how bad Sean Moore's hand must be to make a change at this point.
It has to be.
Yeah.
No question. 2nd and 10. Blunden nearly sacked, then is at the 30-yard line by Chris Mims with 10 seconds remaining. The Cavs have 1 timeout, and they have to take it here, and they finally do.
Well, that's the one thing you sacrifice when you take Moore out. I mean, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I mean, Sean Moore unable to throw the ball to the outside with the bad thumb, but Blunden is not a very active, agile man back there. Moore probably would have got out of there and turned that into something.
Tennessee doing their mountain goat impersonation, or their man
battering Rams.
These guys are tough on each other tonight. Well, a wonderful example of perseverance by the University of Tennessee tonight. Totally outplayed in the first half. Virginia dominating at all turns, but just banging away, slugging away, not straying from your game plan. And Tennessee really, I mean, a masterful example of a team not losing its cool.
And about the only thing you can expect now for the Cavs just to put the ball up and look for the defensive foul. And you'll get a defense spread all over the field on the part of the Volunteers. But you're right, Dan. They hung in there. They were totally dominated the first half, down 16-0. We talked at halftime about the depth of Tennessee, the strength of Tennessee, their size on the offensive line, and eventually it started to pay off, take its toll on a smaller Virginia team. They can pull back and maybe take a look at the defense, the way it's spread out.
3rd and 17 on what could be the last play of the game. London goes deep, and only orange shirts are there. And Dale Carter, fittingly one of the finest defensive backs in the country, picks it off and ends the Sugar Bowl as he runs it back to the 25. And the Volunteers erase a 16-point deficit and give Johnny Majors another bowl victory.